Hello, everybody, and welcome to day 16 of my Forex journey. This is Jordan Rosario, and today we are going to go ahead and switch things up, switch gears, if you will, and adjust our strategy for what we're doing with the Forex market today. So, what I mean by that is for those that were able to catch day 15, you may have noticed that I may have wrecked or we have got our account had been what's the word I'm looking for? That the account essentially dropped down in balance to the $15.60 that we are at today. So what we are going to do so that we can avoid this particular situation in the future is adjust what we are doing, and ultimately our goal is to get better and better. I cannot be a teacher without being a student and master at the same time. So we are going to be on student mode in terms of practicing a new strategy. And so what I mean by that is I'm ultimately going to go ahead and log back into my account right here. You don't need to see this. And so oh, excuse me. So my plan is I'm going to go ahead and I am creating two demo accounts. As we can see right here, I've got two demo accounts that I just created. We're going to get another instance of the Hugo's Way MetaTrader 4 terminal platform downloaded onto my computer, and we're going to go ahead and get that installed. Now, you may have seen me done it yesterday. You may have seen me gone ahead and I had created a instance beforehand, but to give everybody a refresher on how I did this part, I left clicked on settings. I went over to the terminal, and because this will be our fourth instance, we're going to place a parentheses, number 3, close parentheses, then click next so I can get that baby installed. In the meantime, I will pull up my email, and there we go. I'll have two emails now for my two demo accounts. So in the meantime, while I get one particular instance loaded up, I'm going to come over and log into one of my demo accounts. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, how come I am doing this? And that's because I need to practice this new strategy out. I'm not going to practice a new strategy on a real account and end up causing more damage, unnecessary damage than I had done previously. So I would rather go ahead and test this out on a demo account. And that is a very similar mindset that each and every one of us should have if we're going to go ahead and practice what we're doing right over here. So first, let me get rid of that. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to have this right here. Actually, I'm going to have this right over here, pinned to taskbar. And then I'm going to log into my other demo account by, if I have a new program open just like this, I'll just choose Hugo's Way Demo 3 as my trading server. Left click on next, left click existing trade account. Then from here, I will go ahead and enter in my new account information. So essentially, I'll have 4 Hugo's Way terminals up, each trading separate pairs, and each one of them trading on the 15-minute time frame. Okay, perfect. That baby is up. That baby is ready to go. So I will need to get this particular terminal set up, and I will be right back. Okay, perfect. So as far as the plan for what we're going to do for the rest of this particular week moving forward, the idea is I'm going to have 4 demo accounts traded on at the same time to test the same strategy, the same 15-minute time frame strategy that I will be using on this particular part of the trading journey moving forward on 4 particular pairs. We are going to do gold on here. We're going to go to silver. So I'm going to left click on view, left click on symbols. I will go to metals, left click the plus sign next to metals, left click the XAG USD pair, left click on show and close, left click on the highlighted symbol underneath my market watch, right click where it says chart window, place this baby on the 5-minute time frame, get the candlesticks going, blow up the chart a little bit, zoom in a little bit, and then go ahead and place what I need to place on this particular pair. Okay, perfect. And then place this guy right here. Okay, perfect. Awesome. Okay, so I got all 4 pairs now. I've got gold, silver, we've got platinum, and we have got gold versus the euro. Now this is gold versus the United States dollar. I've got gold versus euro on here. I'm gonna put that on the 15-minute time frame. And okay. So now what we're gonna do is we're going to look at all 4 of these pairs, look for trade alerts, look for alerts, or no, I'm sorry, not alerts, but look for opportunities within the market on the 15-minute time frame. Now, one of the reasons we're testing this on this particular fashion is, again, when we talked about the time frames, right? I remember alluding to this on day 15. One of the things is that for the longer time frames, your trend is going to be more consistent than the shorter time frame. So of course, the 5-minute time frame, while we were enjoying success initially on the 5-minute time frame early in the journey, we started to notice that journey or the success was waning within those last couple of weeks until we got to the point where we are today. So again, that doesn't mean that we're done with this journey. That doesn't mean that we just pack things up and say, hey, that's the end of the road. That's it. Goodbye. No, no, it does not mean that. And again, you have to understand that I have been in this situation before, within my 2 years of, or within, technically a year and what would it be right now? A year and almost 11 months into this journey. And so it would behoove me to continue on this journey. Again, there are things that we can learn on this journey, even in setback and even in failure. And for us, even though we had that setback, even though we had that failure, one of the things is that we have to realize that it's not the end. You gain yourself now a new beginning, and it should be exciting for you because within this new beginning, you are going to be able now to take the knowledge that you didn't know previously, and now you have that particular knowledge now in order to move forward. And what's incredible is that epiphany realization didn't necessarily come to me just I didn't have that within me until maybe a couple of weeks ago when I was listening to a interview with Dean Graziosi, Tony Robbins. They were talking with Matthew McConaughey. Matthew McConaughey. And of course, Matthew McConaughey, the guy that goes, all right, all right, all right. Although now he's a lot more recognized and a lot more noteworthy for what he's doing in the personal self-development game. But there was a line that was so potent that he said on the interview that made me, I when I listened to it, it was powerful. But now understanding where we're at right now, that line becomes even more powerful as we move forward. And that line was, I would hate to know what I didn't need to know, or not that I didn't need to know, but I would hate to not know if I didn't try, right? And so what that necessarily means is that even though those past 15 days, and again, we had some success, we had some not so great success, I would have rather gone through those particular days because now I know what I didn't know back then, right? We're always learning in this beautiful Forex industry. And now we can go ahead and take that knowledge and be able to move forward in the right direction. So now our objective is to do the same thing. We're not going to change much. All we're going to go ahead and change is the fact that instead of the 5-minute time frame, we're going to go ahead and look at the 15-minute time frame for these pairs, and we're going to look for some opportunities. All right, everybody, we are back. And as we can see, these alerts will take a little bit more time to develop as we move forward. We've got a buy, sell, sorry, a buy sell arrow, what? Buy arrow on gold versus the euro. As we can see, we are definitely in a uptrend. I could even go ahead and take a look right here. So if I put my trend line tool right here, we could definitely see that we are in a definite uptrend right here. So we're going to wait for that candle to close, which, because these are 15-minute candles. So again, one of the things that we're going to look out for as we experiment, now that we're testing this on the 15-minute time frame, what we're going to be looking for is, because the 15-minute time frame, these are about 15 minutes of candles. Now we're going to be looking for more long-lasting trends, because there's going to be a little bit more time that has passed. We're going to go deeper into time, so to speak. And with that being said, these candles are indeed going to take a little bit longer to close for us. So as far as what that means in the grand scheme of things, if we are looking at 15-minute time frames, while there may not be as many trades, and I believe I alluded to this on exploring multiple time frames, but because these are now longer candles that we're looking at, there may be less trade opportunities to take advantage of. However, these particular opportunities are going to be a little bit more consistent based on the observation that the trend is going to be a little bit more consistent. There is going to be more time that's developed to see the uptrend on a longer period of time. And again, we talk about patterns, and we understand that one of the patterns that we're looking for, or one of the patterns that we understand in Forex trading, is the higher the time frame is on the candle, the less trade opportunities you'll have, just because there's going to be a less or more time that's needed between each candle on the 15-minute time frame compared to the 5-minute time frame. And we also have to understand that with that, there will come more consistency, because now we're seeing that there is a more backup in terms of a trend being developed. And again, 5 minutes, we saw consistency on some of the victories we had on the 5-minute time frame, but we also understood that there were those trades that we did indeed take a loss on because of what was going on. So with that being said, we are looking at a new trading moments in our lives. We understand that the 5-minute time frame wasn't necessarily for us with the strategy that we're using, so we'll experiment more. We'll go with the 15-minute time frame, and we will be looking for better results as we move forward throughout the journey together. And that's the thing, right? It would be very easy for me to just, I talked about it earlier, after the after that, I mean, we can call it a debacle if we wanted to, but I call that a setback. I call that a honest to God failure. I mean, I call it a failure. However, with that being said, right, we're not necessarily counting that as the end of the journey. We're not counting that as, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and hang it up, because we understood that at the beginning that this is not a perfect system. We are not perfect. We are going to, as you move forward and evolve, expand, and grow, that there are going to be trials and tribulations. There are going to be tests that would derive us from the path of a $6.6 trillion a day opportunity that we have here in the market. And we just have to understand that by coming to the markets each and every day, whether demo, whether real accounts, and practicing the art of trading and just repeating the particular trades that we're doing, or repeating our system and get it better at understanding the system, adopting our system, then we're going to understand that repetition is the mother of mastery. I mean, I've talked about repetition so much where, we're going in, day out, 5 hours a day, 5 a.m. my time to 10 a.m. my time, which would be from Monday to Friday, and going through the process of trading. And again, what we saw on day 15 as a matter of placing those trades, which contributed to the downfall of the account. There were, we took a lesson in that we did the right thing at the wrong time, and we didn't necessarily have the ability to, or I didn't place the cap on the trade because I felt so strongly about the trade that because we still had a confirmation that we were in a uptrend, and truthfully that didn't happen. We did not cap the trade, and ultimately that led to, again, again, not a debacle, but just that setback that we had on day 15 yesterday. So again, we could talk about what's the word I'm looking for? We can gloom over the past, gloom and doom. We could stop this particular journey. That could have been. And to the viewers who are watching this particular video, I commend you, especially if you got from day 1 to day 15. You saw day 15 and you're thinking, whoa, that left me a little bit discouraged. Well, I would understand if that is the case for you. Not everyone is able to just kind of pick up on what I'm doing right here, seeing all that, and still stick around with me. So I definitely appreciate that, and I'm very grateful for that. And I also understand that that can't be the end of the journey for me myself as well, because again, it would be so easy just to stop there after, and not even publish a video. By the way, I could have just not published that video. However, if I am to be transparent as a teacher and a student and understand that there are mistakes that you can make in the market and it's okay to make those mistakes, then it is okay for me to still publish those particular videos and let everybody see, yeah, it's very easy to make a mistake in these markets. It's very easy for those things to happen, but it's also very simple to not let those emotions get a hold of you, and practice where you are, and we come back and we bounce back. And so our bounce back for us is understanding that we just need to continue to practice what we're doing, and we'll be able to move forward in the right direction. And this is also, in a sense, right, this video, I guess, log, even though you're watching me from day-to-day trade, it's while it's a log, it's also helping us compound our knowledge about the forex market more and more every day. We're seeing the trades, we're seeing what's taking place, and through that we are all gaining knowledge together on how can we improve. I talked about this a bit earlier, compounding. And yes, compounding your account is very, very important. But within that as well, we also want to compound our mastery of not only ourselves, but our compounding our knowledge on the forex market, and compound our psychology on the forex market as well, and teach ourselves to be unshakable in this market. And again, I'm not gonna lie, day 15. Now I know I was a little bit sick with the chest cold, but I also was taken aback by just a little bit. We saw that storm come in and wipe the accounts that I had built, and it would have been a shakeable moment for anybody just doing this for the first time. And I definitely understand that, especially because that's not the first time I have done something like that. There have been other times that has happened with my account. However, I have learned that This game rewards those who play in the long term, that don't get derailed, that don't get off balance because of that. And so we have to understand that we just need to move forward in the right direction. We have to take that particular day as a day that had to happen, that we had to just experience that day. And with that, we are going to be able to learn from that day in particular. And we are going to bounce back, make a comeback, and grow in the right direction. And again, this is all, by the way, another thing about why I'm not necessarily that heartbroken about it is I come back to this principle of invest in what you can afford to lose, right? And listen, that was $100 right there. And technically, I guess in the grand scheme of things, $85. And that is a situation where I am okay with that money being gone. All right. I am okay with that being gone if that allowed me to grow even further in the Forex market industry. And so you have to also come to a realization, okay, is this something that I can afford to lose? And if not, then A, perhaps find a different balance, or B, practice on a demo account until you feel comfortable or you ease yourself into the mindset of, okay, I could trade on this. I could trade with the $100, and I can also be okay with losing the $100 worst case scenario. And again, this is a journey that we have to understand is a day by day journey. It's not, we're not looking for going from 100 to 1,000, a million, a billion, a trillion. We're not looking to do all this in one day. No, this is a day by day journey. So we have to take each day and just keep moving forward. So what we built on day 1 to day 2 to day 3 to day 4, all the way to day 15 and up until now day 16, we understand that we just have to go ahead and do what it is that we need to do in order to keep moving forward. And if we understand that, then the circle of anxiety that we were talking about beforehand, again, we could even draw the circle of anxiety like this. Let me grab my pen right here. Circle of anxiety, right? Because now we're understanding there was a new circle of anxiety for those that would have just did what I did. So those first 15 days, we can actually picture. Let me just grab this buy trade right here. There we go. Okay. So we can go ahead and we can talk about that journey a little bit more for everybody. So, if I just put a arrow right here, right? So we rode the high of growing our account by 30%, right? We rode that high over I want to say past couple of days, or not past couple of days, from about day 1 to about day 8, we had that particular high. Then what happened? Let me grab my mouse. Then we saw that there was a trade that we lost on day 9 that put our balance at about 106. So we still had about a 6% account balance at that particular point in time. And through all that, we still didn't deviate away from the strategy. So then, we come to this point where, we had a couple of back-to-back losing losing days. And listen, I'm being transparent here. I'm being very transparent with what took place. In fact, if you want to go ahead and pause that, write that down so you could see exactly what my progress was like over those past 15 days, please go ahead. I don't want to feel like I'm hiding anything away, especially because everyone, if people are going to watch, if people are going to treat day 16 like day one, they have to understand the journey that came before this point to really understand what it's going to take to become a trader, because you have to go through each pain point of these emotions in order to understand what lies beyond the other side of that. So we rode the high. Then we had this. So we trade the trade that we lost on day 9 that put our balance at about 106. You could also check out exactly what I mean by that, but just starting on day 1 and going through all of those particular days. Then we have back to back to back losing days. All right. Then we come back to a winning day on day 14. And then on day 15, the account busted on day 15. And don't worry, I'll give everybody a moment to take all these notes down if they'd like. And now the next question is, what's next? That completes our own circle of anxiety for no, and we talked about the circle of anxiety just as a beginning trader, but now that we're on day 16, now that we're on this particular journey, we rode the high of growing our account by 30%. The trade that we lost on day 9 that put our balance at about 106. Then we had our back to back to back losing days. Then we had a winning day on day 14. The account busted on day 15. So what's next? That completes the circle of anxiety. And then to go ahead and here, I'll let you finish. I'll go ahead and just restart over. And for those that want to write down the circle of anxiety notes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. Okay. You got the circle of anxiety copied down at this point. And if you didn't, you can pause the recording here. So what does this mean now? So we've gone through all this. What does that mean? Well, now that we've gone through this particular circle, we went through day 15 and we went throughout the whole circle. What's next? Well, the question is, we keep going. I mean, I don't mean to sound like Captain Obvious, but that just because we had this setback, just because we had this failure, and I know I'm repeating myself, but that doesn't mean the end. Now we are on a new beginning. We are on the beginning of a new path in our journey, a new step on our journey, a new chapter in our journey, where all we're really doing is we took the knowledge that we gained over the past 15 days that's recorded, that we can review, that we can replay forever, or at least as long as YouTube is still around, still alive. And we could go ahead and we could just keep moving forward. I mean, there's really no other, what's the word I'm looking for? There's no guesswork there. That's not a trick question. That's not an answer. We just keep on going, because now we have the knowledge to say, okay, there were some things that we tried, some things that were successful, some things that we need to adapt. And so we can go ahead and do that on our next trades as we move forward. And by the way, I do see that we have a buy arrow on platinum. So we're going to take a look at that later. Of course, after the 15-minute candle is indeed closed. So we'll go ahead and do just that. But that's the idea, right? We'll go ahead and we'll take what we learned from those particular days, and we'll move forward in the right direction. And by the way, I know that we've been practicing on metals a whole lot. We're practicing on gold, silver, platinum, gold. Well, actually, we're practicing on metals, right? But I'll explain the pairs instruments again. We're practicing on silver, platinum, gold versus the United States dollar, and gold versus the European dollar. And trust me, there are many more instruments that we are going to cover on this channel. I mean, we took a look at, again, I'll left click on view, left click on symbols, and we can already see that there are so many pairs that are on here. It would behoove me to try and experiment all these pairs, because all that will really do is that we can go ahead and really start to take advantage of what we got here in the Forex market. So, just because day one through day 15 happened doesn't mean that that's the end of the road. There's still so much opportunity. There's still so much expansion, growth. There's still a lot that we can do in the Forex market together. So it would behoove me. It would be beneficial to everybody if we go ahead and we keep going on this particular journey together. And so with that, we've got this trade playing out right here with gold versus euro. We are at a buy step. Now, I do want to come back to my good old friend, Tony Robbins, and we're going to talk about Unshakable for a little bit. And if you remember correctly, I believe that we stopped on day 14, where on day 14, we were talking about, the first step to achieving anything you want is focus, right? So we're still keeping our focus, of course, on the Forex market. We're focusing on the different trade opportunities that are coming about. We're not deviating away from the focus, which is very important. And so because of this intense focus that we have, again, this burning desire that we have can help us attain what might otherwise be out of reach. So with this intense focus, what we're essentially doing or saying, or what I'm saying is, it doesn't matter what happened in the past. It doesn't matter that, or, it does matter in terms of learning, right? So I'm not saying it doesn't matter at all, but what's not going to derail me from the path is the fact that day 15 happened. I am not going to allow that. I'm not allowing that to affect our trading journey moving forward in terms of quitting on the journey. And if we can understand that, we got this market in the bag very, very, very easily. Now, the second step is to go beyond hunger, drive, and desire, and to consistently take massive action, right? Think about it. Easy for me to lose my hunger, drive, and passion, desire after day 15. After day 15, I could have been absolutely done. That could have been the end, but I'm not, because to succeed, I needed to take that massive action. I needed to see the consequences of what that action was, because I needed to grow in the student energy so that I can then convert that and teach everybody what we're about to do next in now focusing in on the master energy. Again, that's the important part of being a teacher in this game, is to have both the student and master energy combined into one person. We also need to find the most effective execution strategy, which means changing your approach until you find what works best. And here we go. And I'm actually very glad now that day 15 happened. People are like, wait, why are you glad? Like, you lost money. But yes, but that was an indicator. That was a sign that we needed to change our strategy on this, that we need to go ahead and tweak some things that we didn't necessarily think about tweaking before. And that loss of that $100 allowed us to do so. Think about it like this. Would I have rather have done this, right? Would I have rather done this with $100 or $1,000? And truth be told, I know that people aren't listening to me on the people are watching me live, so you can't actually, scream out $100,000, but the answer is indeed, or 1,100, but the answer is $100. I would have rather lost $100 doing all that if all that allowed me to understand was the strategy needed to be changed a little bit. And by studying the right role models, you could learn in a week what might otherwise take you a decade. And again, I have very, very powerful mentors in Sal Leto, Dr. Luis Ariasa, Coach Maurice, that are giving me the knowledge and tools that I need in order to grow even further. But with that being said, I also understand that my best teacher in doing all this is indeed the experience. And by you guys watching what I do, my progress, you can even shortcut my progress. You can go further than my progress because you're not going through and what I mean by that is you're learning you're learning now what it took me about a year and 10 months, even 11 months to learn. So my objective, my goal is to get you guys to a faster position in Forex trading to be able to succeed better in Forex trading than I could have possibly done in my first 2 years. And then, so that's the second step. So the second step is to go beyond hunger, drive, and desire, and to consistently take massive action. Now, the third step is to achieving whatever we want is grace. The more that we acknowledge grace in our life, the more we seem to have it. So I acknowledge that, hey, day 15, that was that. That was a day. We learned from that day. I give myself, not necessarily a pat on the back because that was a losing day, but I'm giving myself forgiveness in the fact that that day happened. I'm not allowing myself to get beat up, crushed up over that day. And I'm saying to myself, okay, that was day 15. What's going to happen on day 16? What is day 16 going to teach us that can help us move forward in our journey? That's my mindset, and that's what I want to go ahead and give to people as we move forward. So we've talked about the science of achievement. Now, let's talk about in fact, hold on. So let's review the science of achievement, and let's talk about those steps again so that we can have a nice little recap, if you will. Okay, actually, 1 second, this candle just closed. So that means if I go back to platinum, okay, so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to place a buy because that buy candle closed. Again, we're just testing on a demo account. So this is perfectly fine. And now we see this candle has moved over to the next candle. So that will be our next opportunity for a trade. Just looking at everything else right here, it looks like we don't have a trade on gold or silver. So we're concentrating really on platinum and gold versus the euro. Perfect. Okay. So let's go back to the science of achievement and write down those steps. So step 1, focus, right? So we're still focused on what we set out to do on day 1, which is to learn more about the Forex market, take trades, understand the trades that we are taking, and be able to compound our accounts and treat our accounts in the same way, regardless if it's a real or a demo account. Then step 2, go beyond hunger, drive, desire, and take massive action. So that means to us, we keep going, we find the most effective strategy, we practice, we experiment, we test, and for you guys, you're able to learn off me, which will help fast track your progress in the Forex market game. Again, what you're going to be learning here, it took a year and 11 months for me to learn. I will even count the experiences we had as part of that learning journey. So each time you're learning, you're fast tracking your own progress compared to my own journey, my own progress. So I would inspire, or I would even envision that there are going to be a wave of Forex traders that are at or even better at my level because you guys watch my YouTube channel. That is the vision for me. And that's why we keep going. And that's why we take this massive action to move forward in the right direction. Just take a look at platinum. Okay. So the next step, step 3. Achieving whatever we want is grace. So what does that mean? Giving ourselves the forgiveness to understand, hey, it's okay to make a mistake. Hey, you're still here. Hey, I'm grateful to still be on this journey. Hey, keep doing what we're doing. Hey, we just have to do a little bit of a change and tweak in the strategy. So now we're doing a hybrid of step 2 and step 3. But the idea is that we're not beating ourselves up over the past, and we're not beating ourselves up over our past mistakes. We're moving forward. So now that we've recapped the science of achievement, let's talk about the art of fulfillment. So the art of fulfillment is mastering the internal world will allow you to master the external world. And that's so fair, right? It's akin to, and the best way that I can describe it is, we're on a airplane, right? Hear me out. We're on an airplane. And on the airplane, they always tell you, hey, before you go and help other people with putting on their oxygen mask, you really want to make sure that you're first taking care of your own oxygen. And if we think about it, that's very, very, very true in the grand scheme of things, because a lot of the time, we want to be the helpful people that we can be. So we want to go ahead and master our external world in a way by helping people in this equation. But what we're doing, or what we're leaving behind, is our own internal world. We're saying, we need the oxygen as much as everybody else, and that's not selfish. How can you help somebody, right, if you're not willing to? How can you help somebody put on their oxygen mask if you yourself are not putting on your oxygen mask? It's it's akin to it's akin to the old adage, before helping others, you must help yourself. And so what we want to do, as we're mastering this external world of a $6.6 trillion a day financial market, a $6.6 trillion a day financial industry in Forex trading, is the matter of the fact is we need to master our internal world as much as we need to master this external world right here. So what does that mean? Well, there are a couple of principles that we want to go ahead and acknowledge, because that will help us grow in the right direction. And it's funny that I say that, because the first principle is you must keep growing. It's the secret to happiness is indeed progress. And so think about it. We're progressing on this journey. Everyone will think that day 15 is not progress, that is a regression. But I argue, or not argue, but I offer this alternative perspective of this. Now, it's a very valid perspective to say, hey, that was more so a regression than a progression of anything. However, my perspective is, if I didn't learn what I just learned in day 15, doing all those trades, and then my account going in the, then would I have known at this point to tweak the strategy to where, okay, instead of the 5-minute time frame, let's go to the 15-minute time frame. Without day 15, would I have then tweaked the strategy to accommodate that? Sometimes the most painful moments in life actually allow you to put yourself in a position to understand, okay, there's just a couple of things that need to be tweaked in order for everything to move forward in the right direction. And the second principle is you have to give. You make a living by what you get. You make a life by what you give. We're driven by our desire to contribute. If we stop feeling that deep sense of contribution, we can never feel truly fulfilled. Success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. And let's think about this. Let's really think about this. That principle for just a moment. Again, very easy for me to go from day 1 to day 14 to day 15 and say, okay, that's it, we're done. I'm just trading by myself. I am never sharing what I need, when I'm going to share in YouTube ever again. It's a very easy decision that I can make. And by the way, if I don't want to sound, what's the word I'm looking for? Hot-headed. Let me just close that trade. Boom, that's 3%. I don't want to sound too overly, because I know it could sound that way. I don't want to sound too overly bombastic. I don't want to sound too pretentious. I definitely don't want it to I don't want to come off as that way, but more so I just want to give the perspective of it's easy for me to have wanted to quit, just do trading on my own and never show the world again what I'm doing. But I am driven with this vision that, if I can do what I'm doing, there's a million billion. And again, I'm focusing right now on a very small percentage of people that are watching these videos. And again, very grateful for each and every one of you that view my videos. I'm very, very, very grateful for that. Because my sense of contribution is to teach you guys what I'm doing in the hope, in the dream of you guys doing the same thing. And then expanding upon that vision a little bit more, I understand that for those that are watching this, trading isn't necessarily your passion right now, or you didn't get into this just because you wanted to trade. There was something more that you wanted to contribute to. There was something more that you want to give to. Now, I can't attest or I can't speak to the desire that you want. I can't speak to the contributions that you want to give. That's for your own mind. That's for your own, what I like to call, what's the word I'm looking for? That's really what you have to decide for yourself. And, that's what I'm trying to say. So you have to decide all that by yourself. But what we all understand is that we have a deep sense to give. I want to give what I'm doing, all the bad days, all the good days, all the great days, because I know that this will help you really start to open your mind to Forex trading, even if we have to go through every great step and every painful step together. And then on top of that, with the money that could be achieved in this market, I mean, we can help the world so much. Just think about like this. You know how many people have passions that are out there, that feel like they are afraid to achieve those dreams, or, there's dreams that they want to achieve, but because people will say the economy sucks, the housing market sucks, everything just sucks. It's very easy to point out that stuff because it's wrong. It is, and it is wrong in a sense. It's very wrong. Yet we can also try to point out what's right in a way. And let me explain what I mean by that. We can point out, okay, there's so much wrong, right? economy sucks. Job market sucks. Jobs suck in general. Housing market sucks. All that sucks. But what that allows us to do then is then now going to the right side, now we have an opportunity to change the world, shake the world, give people a better fighting chance in this world that we didn't, we understand that there are things beyond our control, going back to just past history to where we are right now. But instead of allowing that world, in my opinion, to keep on going in that matter, we could change the world in a sense where we can start making everything better for everybody, and not just the majority, or not just the minority. We can have this ability, this power to, and I know I'm going on a tangent, I'm sorry, but we have this ability to move everybody to move up. And if I can be the catalyst to that change, to where this drives other people to do the same thing, then it's absolutely perfect. I have done my job. And so let's go ahead and let's go back to reviewing those, the art of fulfillment and those true principles again. Principle number 1, you must keep growing. You must keep progressing. You must grow when you have failed, and you must grow when you have succeeded. You must grow when there is a setback, and you must grow when there's a step in the right direction. Principle number 2. You have to give. And giving can mean so many things. Giving educational material on a YouTube channel for free, that's one way. But what can you give with the riches that can be derived from the Forex market? What can that mean to not only yourself, but how can you give in a way to keep yourself fulfilled? That you're saying, whoa, I was able to do all this because I learned this particular skill, and now I can feel like I can do almost about anything. If you're not fulfilled, you have nothing. Unless you help yourself first, how can you hope to help others, right? So yes, we talk about being, selfless and changing the world and all that. However, I have to understand that I must do what I need to do to be successful, so that you guys can be successful as well. And so that question, that answer allows me to keep going. Of course, I have a typo here. But so that question, that answer allows me to keep going, even if day 15 was a very undesirable day in the short-term sense. The long-term projection is that setback will now allow the biggest growth to happen, because I was able to go ahead and not only experience it for myself, but now each and every one of you were able to see that same setback as well. I think I missed out on clicking on buy right here. Yes, I did. Okay. So the reason I'm getting myself into another buy trade is because the arrow moved over to the next candle. So we're basically doing a cost average right there. So we're just going to let that. So we're going to let those two buy trades for platinum keep going. And so now let's talk about this topic right here. And I think this will nicely tie the transition from day 15 to day 16. To suffer or not to suffer? That is the question. A man is but the product of his thoughts. What he thinks, he becomes. An energy-rich state, a peak state where you can accomplish anything and where your relationships are filled with passion. By consciously choosing and committing to live in a beautiful state, I believe, and we should believe, that we can not only enjoy so much more of life, but we can also give more. Now, beautiful state, that sounds, super wonderful. It's like, what the heck are you talking about, Jordan? So let's break this down. It's just coming back to just journaling, journaling out my desires, having those things that I write down. At one point in time, those were just thoughts. Now, if those thoughts are transitioned into paper, I talked about how journaling, that helps reinforce those ideas that you have in your mind. And again, the beautiful thing about the mind is it does not know the difference between reality and fiction. Whatever you decide to fill up in your mind, or whatever you desire to put in your mind, it will indeed stick with you. So, for example, but yesterday, when I wrote down, I am so grateful now that I am a world-changing emperor, that is truly because I believe in my mind that I am a world-changing emperor. I am so grateful now that I am a 10, 11, 12 counting figure earner. I wrote that down because in my mind, in my thoughts, I believed in my state of mind that I am a 10, 11, 12 counting figure earner. I'm so grateful now that I am a global network. I wrote that down because in my mind, I am a global network. I can connect to people all over the world if I wanted to, if I desire to. And as long as I not only put that in my journal, as well as many other things that we don't need to get too much into a tangent about, but as long as I have that in my mind, then any day, for a good day, a bad day, or whatnot, it's not going to affect me in the long run, even if there are those short-term setbacks. And so by choosing to live in this state of mind, by choosing to go ahead and be able to choose the path of continuing, even in a tough moment, to continue to the path of choosing to continue this journey, record, take trades, even after some very painful short-term setbacks, by choosing to continue in this route, then the things that I have wrote down that came from my mind, from my state of mind, which has been conditioned by some of the things that I do. And again, it's not a immediate boom, this is going to happen right now. It took, I want to say, maybe a good year and a half of conditioning my mind to this particular state. Then we can keep on going together, even through all that pain. The trouble is the human brain isn't designed to make us happy and fulfilled. It's designed to make us survive. This 2 million-year-old organ is always looking for what's wrong, for whatever can hurt us, so that we can either fight it or take flight from it. Right? We talk about fight or flight so much because that is what was designed in the brain. That's what adrenaline is. That's what our system is designed to do. Just either fight it or run away from it. Now, there is another path, and that involves directing your thoughts so that your mind does your bidding and not the other way around. Do everything in our power, my power, to live in a beautiful state for the rest of my life and to become an example of what's humanly possible. Right? It's so, again, it comes back to it's easy to run away from this $6 trillion market, especially with the bumps and bruises we've taken so far. Yet we're here still because of the desires and dreams that can be obtained, can be achieved in this market, as long as we find the perfect strategy to go ahead and do that. Day 15, if we want to think about day 1 to day 15, was the building block, one of our foundations for our strategy, because we now know, okay, this long term, what we tried out is not going to work. So what we are going to do, or how we're going to move forward, is instead, okay, we're going on this different route. We're going on this different journey. So we can go ahead and become successful as we move forward. So let's talk about a beautiful state again and really get into it, because if we want a clear cut definition instead of just fancy, lovely words, a beautiful state is when you feel love, joy, gratitude, awe, playfulness, ease, creativity, drive, caring, growth, curiosity, or appreciation. Any one of those feelings, again, love, joy, gratitude, awe, playfulness, ease, creativity, drive, caring, growth, curiosity, appreciation, that's a beautiful state. You know exactly what to do and you do the right thing. In this state, your spirit and your heart are alive and the best of you comes out. Nothing feels like a problem and everything flows. You feel no fear or frustration. You're in harmony with your true essence. So, again, if being in a beautiful state of mind to me means that even throughout this journey, I still feel a sense of love for you guys. So I want to keep making these videos so that you guys can see what I'm doing, take in my knowledge, and get better. Joy, I like Forex trading. I like podcasting. I like coaching. So again, I'm putting in all three of my joys into one setting. Gratitude. I have the ability to do this from Monday to Friday, to practice my skills, to trade, to talk, to comment on what I'm doing. And I couldn't be ever more grateful because I'm able to speak to you guys in that sense. And then awe, just seeing, whoa, okay, so now I know that this can work. Now I know that this can't work. So, oh, what about this? Can we go ahead and tweak this? Being in awe of the different little nuances of the Forex market and being able to see that not only in real time as I'm talking to you guys on this microphone, but then coming back and reviewing these recordings and seeing, ooh, okay, so we should talk about that a little bit more. Or, okay, we should review this and look into this and deep dive into this topic a little bit more. And again, all the questions I've been getting from you guys on on the YouTube channel, very much appreciative. And if you want to go ahead and try, and if YouTube is not your platform or not your place, well, I'm on Facebook. And I'll just go ahead and just drop the social media creds, if you will. Oh God, creds. Does anyone even say creds anymore? Like, I feel like I'm just being an old guy in the room. Anyway, Facebook, that's Jordan Rosario. Instagram, Jordan Rosario 777. I also have a Twitter. I just put that up, I want to say last week. Yeah, I just put that up last week. Let me go ahead and grab those credentials because, of course, I don't don't write anything down. So my Twitter is at WC. And of course, the WC is abbreviated for world changing, and Prosario. Boom. So there is my Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Feel free to jot all of that down. Oh, here, I'll give you 5. Let me pause. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, cool. So yeah, I'm in awe of the questions I get. And the playfulness is, something that I admittedly, and we do have a buy arrow right there. So, we got a opportunity on gold. So we have this opportunity ready to go in about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes once that candle closes. But I mean, that's the thing, right? We're just kind of constantly looking at these charts, exploring all these different opportunities, unleashing our curiosity and unleashing our desire to keep playing in this game. And then as we move into ease, it's just a matter of, okay, we press the button. Okay, we looked at exactly why we went into that trade. Okay, we see that we have an opportunity, and for us, that's more of a matter of, we just keep on going and we just keep on trading, and we take these trades and we learn from each and every one of these trades. Creativity, having the ability to understand, okay, I can combine coaching, Forex trading, podcasting all into one, and showing that creative spirit. Now, I don't know if I'm the first one to ever think about this particular idea, but this is an idea that I have had based on my own creativity, based on my own knowledge, and based on what I want to do. Drive. Good days, bad days, you have your own version of day 15. You're still wanting to keep going because you know that there's more to do, and there's more to learn, and there's more to explore, and there's more to teach in the Forex game. At least for me. Again, I'm going through my own perspective. I'm breaking down what I know the beautiful state of mind means to me. The beautiful state of mind can mean anything to anybody. It's all about mainly the perspective. And then we talk about caring. I do care for you guys, which is really, that's, a lot of this comes down to, I'm putting my own knowledge out there, but also, some of us have some amazing questions about trading in particular that I want to go ahead and I would love to answer for you guys. And then we talk about growth. And before we do that, I forgot. I got to go ahead and do that. Okay, there we go. So we talk about growth. Growth to us is not just a matter of, again, growing our account. It's also the matter of growing our knowledge, growing our resilience, growing our fortitude, and and stretching our mind to the conditions that we need in order to be in a beautiful state of mind. Curiosity about what's going on with these trades. Curiosity about how we had such a strong start on day 1 to day 8. And then what happened on day 9 to day 15 to take that particular start away from us. Being curious in both our successes and being curious about our failures as well. And then we talk about appreciation of the fact that the reason I'm here, the reason I'm doing this is because of my experience in the industry, the programs that I've been honored to be a part of, the people I've gotten into contact with, the relationships I have been able to build that has allowed me to be able to move forward in this particular direction. All of that, all of that specifically. And by the way, we got the arrow moving on to this next candle right here. So that closes with that arrow. That means we're going in for a second buy. But just coming back, all of these emotions, all of what I'm doing in explaining all that and being able to talk about all these different emotions that I'm feeling contributes to that beautiful state of mind that I desire to have everyone else experience as well. And again, it's not as if this can all be done right away. In fact, I know this can't be done all the way at first. However, it takes that culture of progress that I keep talking about. And we do have now a buy opportunity on silver that we're going to go ahead and take a look at. So let's see, we already had a buy opportunity be successful on gold versus euro. We're currently in two buy trades for platinum. We've got a buy trade going for gold, and now that we've got a buy trade in the midst and being ready to be done on silver. So we got a few things going in the pot right here, which is absolutely amazing, absolutely perfect. And so the mental and emotional state in which you live is ultimately the result of where you choose to focus your thoughts. So I choose to focus on the fact that I am a successful trader. I am a 10, 11, 12 counting figure earner. I am a world-changing emperor. Those are my thoughts every day as I go into this particular market. And as long as I have those thoughts within my system, then any day that comes about, we just keep moving forward in the right direction. And all the suffering that's out there, I'm just throwing it out in general. It's really just a result of an undirected mind that's hell-bent on looking for problems. I mean, again, I can really go into the problems that are going on in my life. I can choose to focus on those particular problems. However, by choosing to focus on that, I'm really missing on the big picture on what instead I can choose to focus on what's going right. That we're still here, that I have this skill still, that I'm willing to still teach this skill, that I have a microphone, a computer, and a streaming platform or a place where I can record myself trading on these trades. I still have the ability to do that. So I will go ahead and I will take advantage of those particular opportunities, because it really comes down to this. Either you master your mind or it masters you. The secret of living an extraordinary life is to take control of the mind, since this alone will determine whether you live in a suffering state or a beautiful state. So you do have a choice. Life is choices. We can choose to either focus on what's wrong or what's right. We could choose to focus on what's suffering or what's beautiful. We can choose to let the mind control us, or we can control the mind. And so in these choices, I choose to focus on what's right. I choose to focus on what's beautiful. And I choose to control my mind and not the other way around. And that, again, will help us move forward in the right direction. And by the way, I believe I need to go ahead and make sure that one-click trading is turned on for us. We don't want to necessarily forget that. So let me do that. Okay, perfect. Okay, so this will now be ready for when we need to go ahead and place that trade on silver. So that way we don't run into that situation again with gold. But anyway, come with this. Now that we know what choices we have, we can now go ahead and also talk about the power of making those particular decisions. Okay, everybody. So in the end, it's all about the power of decisions. Our lives are shaped not by our conditions, but by our decisions. Are you committed to being happy no matter what happens to you? And that is important. And, it's also, I understand, easy to say, hard to do. But if we think about it, there are people that have a lot of money in this world that are absolutely depressed. There are people in this world that are, I don't want to say poor, but they don't have a lot of money, yet they choose to be happy. And so, really, our lives, if we want to call it that, our circumstances don't dictate if we can be happy. It's really just that decision to say, "Hey, I am happy. I am positive. I'm optimistic about everything." And they what's the word I'm looking for? There is such a word. Sorry, can't speak today, but there is such a word as eternal optimist, and that's fair. It's a very fair thing to throw around, but I would rather be a eternal optimist than a eternal pessimist. Now, there's such a thing as realism, and that's fine to be a realistic optimist. No, we're not saying not to do that, but there's a difference between, again, optimism and pessimism, and I choose to be an optimist about everything. And if we can do that subtle mind shift tweak, if we can just shift that just a little bit to go from, not to say I don't know where everyone is at in their journey, of course, that's not the point, that's not the case. But if we do feel that sense of pessimism, if we could just tweak it a little bit and just a little bit, right? We're not saying to go from 0 to 100 in a day. That's impossible, right? That's like going from 100 to 1,000 to a million and a billion in one day. Absolutely not possible. However, if we commit to enjoying life, not only when everything goes your way, but also when everything goes against you, when injustice happens, when someone screws you over, when you lose something or someone you love, or when nobody seems to understand or appreciate you, can we commit to enjoying the life that we have? Now, I know that for me, before that particular time, there was a point where I didn't have the best life, and I let that affect me. I can go into my story about I lost a couple of friends along the way, and that absolutely destroyed me. I can go into the fact that there are all these decisions in one point or another led me to this pit of just suffering. And for a while, I just held it in and didn't feel like sharing and just felt like I just had to go through it, become a survivor mode, if you will. But as I've gone through this last year and I got to a dark point, dark place. And again, no one really, I didn't care to share it, but, I was there. There was a particular point in time, it was when I turned 27, April 1st of this year, where there were decisions where it's just like, okay, we need to move forward in a way that makes me happy. We need to move forward in a way that I will not allow circumstances to dictate what my life is supposed to be. I will not allow anything to get me to that place ever again in my life. And it's not that you don't fight those emotions every day, mind you. I still fight them. And sometimes it could be I could be really awesome in fighting them, and sometimes there could be days where, they're very much trying to keep me down. But what I do have that helps me is my journaling. I decide to journal to help myself make me feel happy. I decide to listen to my recording every morning right before I trade so that I can be in the right state of mind, be primed to be blessed and grateful that we're still here, that we're still doing this trading journey. And if we can remember that particular decision, unless we make this definitive decision to stop suffering and live in a beautiful state, our survival minds will create suffering wherever our desires, expectations, or preferences are not met. And it's, when we think about it, just a waste of so much of our lives. All right, everybody, we are back into it. So there's been a few couple of developments, and I accidentally deleted some of the images or the screen shares that I wanted to see. But as far as an update to the gold and silver trade, we did win that trade. You can see that through my account history for today. We got ourselves into a cost average situation where the candle or the arrow moved over to a particular candle that took place at this particular candle right here, where we had after this candle closed right here, which showed a little bit of a downshift compared to this previous arrow right, or where the arrow was, which would have been right over here. We then had the arrow move over to this candle. We took a second buy trade, a second cost average trade. Ultimately, price moved up about 3%, and we were able to go ahead and entered that or close that trade with our 3% account gain. We can see right now that we have this candle, or this candle right here. We had the buy arrow appear. And so after this candle closed, we confirmed the arrow did not disappear. We took another buy trade on gold. And then for silver, we had a similar situation. We had the buy arrow that appeared at around the first buy arrow appear after the close of this candle. Then the next candle right here, we had the arrow move over to this candle. We waited for that candle to close, and ultimately we then this next candle got us to our 3%, closed those trades, and we made 3% on that particular trade as well. And platinum, we are still riding platinum as we speak, and just waiting to, and we are looking for or waiting for that trade to fully play out and allow us to know what direction we need to take from there. So I just want to come back to the power of decisions and how important it is to make all these particular trading decisions and understand just the state of mind that we need to be as we move forward. And what we really want to decide is we want to decide that we're 100% responsible for our state of mind and for our experience of this life. So we can choose to live in fear. We could choose to, allow our beautiful state of mind to easily go to a suffering state of mind and vice versa. We have the 100% responsibility to choose all that. And so within my circumstances, and I briefly shared exactly what those particular experiences are briefly, and trust me, there are a few other things that are still out there for me in order to, what's the word I'm looking for? There are a few other things for me that I know I'm dealing with, in in what we call circumstance land. And I can choose to focus on those circumstances that may or may not be the best. I could choose to focus on those. However, instead, I choose to focus on the solutions that I have and what I can do to help my own life move forward in the right direction. And so it's not just me that has that choice, but a lot of other people, including our viewers out here, that sorry, just give me 1 second, everybody. But the idea is a matter of fact that we all have the ability to choose what we want to go ahead and focus on. Do we want to focus on that beautiful state of mind, or do we want to focus on the suffering state of mind? Do we want to focus on what's wrong circumstances in our life, or do we want to focus on the what's right circumstances in our life? Do we choose to focus on a scarcity mindset, or do we choose to focus on an abundance mindset? And again, I 100% have the responsibility and the power to choose those decisions. And so I choose because I know that I want this not just for myself, but the people I care about. If they want to see that best version of me, that's going to push forward no matter how tough the circumstances are, then I choose to be in a beautiful state of mind. I choose to focus on what's right. I choose to focus on an abundance mindset, and that helps. And that will not just help, but it will move the needle forward. And so here's something that I want everyone to write down. If you're serious about this journey and you've gone through each of these days 1 through 15, and you're up to this point, this is day 16 now, and you've already been through the first 15 days of the journey and the couple of awesome mastermind interviews that I did with a legacy musician Von T, an absolutely amazing podcast host of the Boston Ballin podcast, Gabby Hurlbut. If you've been throughout this journey with me, I want you to write this down. If you are truly serious about continuing with what we are doing right here, all right? So I'm done with suffering. I'm going to live every day to the fullest and find juice in every moment, including the ones I don't like, because life is just too short to suffer. Think about it. We all have that choice to write this down and feel this, right? Yeah, I'll give everybody 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. We all have the power to feel these particular moments. We had the ability to choose to live exactly like this. And so rather than wait for a perfect time to feel this, going back to perfectionism, waiting for a perfect time to feel this, let's not just try, but let's do this type of living. Let's do this particular way of going about each day of our lives, no matter what circumstances we may find ourselves in, but allow ourselves to live every moment and feel everything that can make us grateful for our presence of being here. And again, we all go through ish. I'm going through ish. You're probably going through some sort of ish. But we can still choose to go ahead, and even with all the ish that we have to deal with, we can still choose to live in that state of mind that allows us to go ahead and move forward in the right direction. And I think that's so powerful, especially if we are going to want to have the life, to be in the life, and to become the life that each of us truly desires. Now, I talked about this. Well, no, I didn't. I didn't talk about this particular thing, but I mentioned a bit about, just being calm, breathing in every moment, and understanding that even within a particular storm, you definitely want to adhere to having a calm state of being, a calm state of mind, and a tool or technique that I'd like to go ahead and introduce to each and every one of you is what's called the 90-second rule. And so the 90-second rule, and you can use this within any time period in your life. It could be as you're watching this video, it could be as you're trading, it could be as if you're going to a particular event or something happens, or basically this is used to be in the presence of a incoming storm or an incoming situation that may be desirable or may not be desirable. It's used in any particular point that can cause a state of disarray or a state of chaos in your beautiful state of mind. And what this 90-second rule dictates each and every one of us to do is to gently breathe and slow things down. I step out of the situation and start to distance myself from all those stressful thoughts that my brain is generating. And the idea or the purpose behind doing all that is to not believe those thoughts or identify with them. And so, again, I go back to just day 15 and how that was definitely not great. And there are a lot of thoughts, there are a lot of feelings, there are a lot of disarray or not beautiful things that certainly can and certainly would have been produced in my mind and would have been produced as a thought. And the idea is to, when those things come about, to take a step back and distance yourself from those thoughts so that they do not become a part of you. Because what's wrong is always available. And I mentioned this, what's wrong is always available, but so is what's right. It doesn't matter what you appreciate. What matters is that by shifting your focus to appreciation, you slow down your survival mechanism. I have a survival mechanism that, again, is protected. It was a construct developed when we were all just humans, starting out humans. Like, what would that have been? 2, 3, 4, 5,000 years ago? Of course, I don't, I don't pretend to know when humans started walking on this earth. That's not my area of expertise. But that when humans arrived in this particular plane, which we call Earth, they had the survival mechanism of the fight or flight. We talked about that, the defense mechanism. Now, to slow that down, love, joy, and giving will all trigger the same positive transformation. And so we're doing these trading days out of love, passion, and we're taking everything that is going within our lives, all the stuff that's going out there, and we're basically planting ourselves in a force field when we're in that state of emotion and when we're ready to sit down at the charts. There's a million things that could go on in our lives that we may or may not have control over. But what we do have control is what we do in the Forex market and how we choose to process what's going on day by day and allowing ourselves to move forward in the right direction. And this shift in our focus creates space for your spirit to enter the game, as we're doing right now. Our spirit is entering the game of Forex trading, so you don't get stuck inside your head. If you keep doing this with real consistency, you can actually rewire your nervous system. training your mind to find the good in every situation. So your experience of life is one of thankfulness and joy. So again, I go back to what happened on day 15. And frankly, we can go back to days 9 through 15 if we really want to expand the totality of the situation. It would have been so easy to say, yes, day 1, day 8, absolutely grateful, absolutely fantastic. I was able to do that. Days 9 through day 15, oh, that sucked. Oh, man, I never want to feel that again. Oh, that's awful. I lost money. Ugh, awfulness. Yeah. Again, because I experienced that situation, and not only that, but I was able to experience, okay, what did we do that was right, and focus on what was right? What did we do what was wrong, right? Now again, what's wrong is always available, but how can we tweak the wrong and make it so that it's right? And so first we have to understand that perhaps the 5-minute time frame was not the best frame for me to trade on gold and silver. And now we understand, okay, we have to adjust the time. So now that helped us adjust the time with what we're doing with gold versus euro. And now we can start to, again, pull back the mystery or keep going with the trading journey so that we can keep moving forward. If I don't look at it through that lens of, okay, this happened, but there was something that we can take from it that was good that allows us to move forward. If we don't approach it from that lens, then we can never win in this game because we're always going to be designed to go away from what hurts us the most. And hell, that's with any point in life. That's with any point in life. That's not just Forex trading. That can happen with relationships. That can happen with present life circumstances. That could happen with anything. And again, this isn't oh, you can do it just like this kind of feeling. I mean, you can, and if you're able to do that, that's absolutely amazing. But I also understand that there is a process to this. We didn't just, I wasn't able to just, as I have the timers going right here, I wasn't able to just, be able to come into this mindset all on my own just like that. No, there's always a idea or a point to in the confines of, we have to be able to really understand that there are choices in terms of, again, focusing on what we on the bright side of things or the dark side of things. Though that's really what it comes down to. It that's the choice that we have. And so if we choose to look at the bright side of everything, while also having that point of, okay, we're not just saying that we're looking at it brightly because we think it's bright, but there are things that we actually can see from these, what we call negative events. If we flip them around and say, oh, because this happened, now I've learned to do this. It's not just, internal optimism, just being internal optimism. It's taking the moments that do seem dark and finding out, okay, what's the one way that we can turn this from just a truly dark moment to something that was, in a sense, bright? Or, can we be grateful for things that were negative? I guess that's my question to you. Can we be grateful for things that are negative? And your answer is your answer. But then once you have your answer, that tells me, okay, that's the state of mind that's the perspective that we're currently in right now. And it's very powerful. It's very telling, and there are ways, and it doesn't have to, you don't always have to think like that forever. And that's where training, and that's where conditioning the mind. And that's where neuroplasticity, which is another topic for another day, of course, but that's where everything comes in together. And so it's important to keep all that in perspective, especially now, especially because we went through the worst day so far in day 15. So how do we go ahead and we carry that experience from day 15 all the way now to day 16? It's like any skill. The more you use it, the better you get. It's like Forex trading. The more we practice the skill, the better that we get. And there's power in happiness. Now, happiness is an advantage in your relationships, your business, your health, and in everything you touch. Living in a beautiful state, no matter what, is the ultimate freedom and the ultimate gift that you can give to those you love, right? I do believe that positivity, eternal optimism is a gift. It is a blessing. I know that this gift took I'm still developing this gift. I can't say that I'm happy all the time. I can't say that, there are not things that will try to challenge that state of happiness from time to time. Otherwise, I'd be a complete freaking liar. I'd be a complete freaking liar if I said that. But let me close that trade. All right, beautiful. But coming back to the main point here, I'm not trying to digress, but coming back to the point, if I know what I can do to affect my happiness and make sure that I maintain it and do more of the things that help me build up the happiness and do less of the things that take away my happiness. And it's funny. Of course, I didn't learn that on my own. That's something that Dean Graziosi taught me. Do more of the things that build up your confidence and happiness and do less of the things that take that away. So Forex trading, it gives me the power to be happy because I can always learn something and I don't have to have my mind come back to, oh, what went wrong before. I'd have to focus on the present moment, to make sure that I'm protecting my account. And that's really also other things in life. What makes you happy? I can't answer that question for you. I don't have the ability to answer those questions about happiness. Only you can. And once you can understand that happiness is a gift that you yourself can have and that you can choose to have, it's powerful. And again, I know it's easy to say, much harder to do. So it will take time and it will take practice, but the more you use it, the better you get. It's the experience of absolute abundance and abundance of joy that is the wealth. Even better, you can possess this abundance now instead of having to wait until you acquire a certain amount of money. Again, we talked about people that are happy right now who don't have a lot of money compared to people who are absolutely, for lack of a better word, stupid rich, stupid rich, and they're pretty much depressed. You can always experience this abundance of joy now instead of having to wait until you acquire a certain amount of money. And the good news is this decision rests entirely in your hands. You alone can give yourself this happiness edge. You alone can decide, okay, I desire to be happy. That's all you have to start out with. I desire to be happy. And once you have that desire, then you can do the little things to build up your happiness. You could do the little things to build up that joy. You can do the little things to allow yourself to focus on the great things that are happening, focus on the things that's right, focus on the abundance of your life, rather than the other things that would take that away. And we don't have to mention that. We don't have to speak that into existence for existence sake. We could just acknowledge the things that don't make us happy, and we can choose to not have them. We could choose to not have them. Unchain your heart, the power of alignment. To overcome fear, the best thing is to be overwhelmingly grateful. This is scary if you really think about it. Me training, me teaching to those who watch my YouTube channel, the fears are people going to listen to this? Are people going to like this? Are people going to see me make a mistake and go, oh my God, look at this awful trader. I'll never watch him again. Oh, I'm sorry, folks. I'm having too much fun. Like those things can come into my mind as the teacher, sure. But then let's turn that phrasing around now to, wow, I'm super grateful that I can teach everybody what I'm doing. I'm super grateful that I can show people how to come back from a severe disaster of a day yesterday and turn that around. I can come back and show people, okay, this is how we process on to the next day. Okay, this is what we're talking about by Kaizen, day by day, step by step at a time. I'm so grateful that even at least one person is watching this and getting some sort of takeaway out of it that can help them. I could plant the seeds. I'm so grateful I can plant the seeds for one person who might take something, maybe not everything, but something away from these videos, open their mind to Forex trading, and be able to become an absolutely amazing Forex trader. See, when I frame it like that, then I'm like, wait, what fear? What were we talking about? The simple goal is to change your emotional state by filling you with a sense of gratitude and to use that emotion, whatever challenge has been causing you to suffer. Again, we all go through challenges. Day 15 was a challenge, and there are definitely life challenges that are in my life right now. Some life challenges are absolutely mind-boggling, stressful, right? But if I can fill myself with a sense of gratitude to be, okay, I'm grateful to be the one that can fix all these challenges. I'm grateful to be in a place where I can go ahead and turn and make the greatest make comebacks in my life that are tough to make. Then we flip that suffering state to a beautiful state. If you want a happy life, if you want to live in a beautiful state, nothing works better than to focus on gratitude. And again, a lot of what caused me to first focus on the gratitude are the journals. The two journals I might have mentioned at some point in, the very early stages of it, but I'm still doing it. I'm still writing down, I am so grateful now, because again, that helps things get scripted into reality. No, I'm writing two journals, one for my personal aspirations and one's for what I desire in a life partner. And I have no fear, no shame in telling you guys what I'm doing on that. Because again, now we start to understand how there's one subtle tweak, there's one subtle tool that you can use to change your mind about whether it's forex trading or whether it's life. You can do that. So step one, here, I'm going to write some particular steps that you can use to help focus on the gratitude. Step one, first pick an aspect of your life where you have some unfinished business, something you need to change or resolve in your professional or personal life, an issue you've been putting off because dealing with it would be upsetting, frustrating, or stressful. Okay. So I've got this image in my mind of what that situation may be. Step two, now set aside that situation for a moment and place both of your hands on your heart. Feel it beating? I want you to close your eyes and breathe deeply into your heart. Okay. Now, of course, I got one eye open eye watching this trade right here. So I'm not fully closing my eyes, mind you, but we're there. We're there. Oh, we got a buy arrow on platinum. So we're going to take that buy trade right there. And again, I can see that there is still that uptrend, and I can see that there is still this support right here. So I understand why the buy arrow was placed over there and how, we haven't broken that support yet. So, I would allow myself to get into that trade until, again, proven otherwise. And nothing on gold versus the euro. So that's fine. Okay. As you breathe into your heart, feeling deep gratitude for your heart, I want you to physically feel your heartbeat. Okay. Step 5, I want you to think of the first experience and step into it right now if you're there. Inside that memory, reliving it. Okay. Okay, I'm reliving that experience. Now think of a second experience, another moment for which you can feel so grateful, something that felt like a pure gift in your life, a miracle, an act of grace, of love. Next, I want you to think of a third moment for which you could feel so grateful. Step 6. Okay. And now I want you to think of one more experience, but this time I want it to be an experience that was a coincidence. There's a purpose to that. We believe that life is always happening for us and not to us. So I could think of one particular experience, and I definitely haven't shared on this on my channel, but how I got into Forex trading in the first place. And so now, as we're monitoring this trade and we're monitoring the other trade, let's go ahead and let's talk about that. So I can remember there was a day, I'm sorry, not a day, but I remember it was April 1st of 2020. And, I started this particular podcast with a couple of great friends of mine. And more to that, and there's even more to that story that seems like a coincidence, but we'll leave that. We'll pick that up maybe on another time. But as we were doing this podcast, we started off the first couple of months just doing it on our own. Then we got picked up by this absolutely amazing network. I believe in fact, I'm confident this absolutely amazing network is still out there. X Squad Network. Shout out to you guys. And for this particular time period, we were with them, and I was getting to meet some absolutely wonderful people in that network, including one person. Her name is Chica Simone. She was a host of the Let's Get It All Out show. And, I was a guest star, or not even before that, we talked, we were kind of talking about our different radio shows and what we were doing. And I got offered the opportunity, I kid you not, I went on to her show. This was back in, I want to say the Wednesday before Halloween of 2020. So imagine that. And as I was, as I was on her show and we were just talking, Chica Simone mentioned, okay, before we, go to our, or go to the next topic or the next skip, whatnot, I want to talk to you about an opportunity with a trading company called Tradera. Now, a lot of us know about Tradera, so we don't have to pull up that story. But in that moment, what she was talking about was the opportunity to come into the Forex trading world. This was the first seed at that particular point in time, and I remember this was the Wednesday before Halloween of 2020. And it was a matter of, okay. Yeah, and I was like, okay with this. I didn't believe in the power forex trading. So I went in one ear and out the other. And then as time went on, I believe it was then a couple of days later on Friday, I kid you not, I see the same exact thing for Tradera. And at the time, I was now, it wasn't necessarily that I was very curious at that point. It was more so, whoa, is this real? There were 4 questions. I remember, and I only bring up these 4 questions because I remember watching a presentation mastery that we do within our program, with Longevity, 8-Minute Trader. And there are 4 questions that a prospect will have. And I remember writing them down. And at that time, as I reflect on that journey of when I really just first started to take a look at Forex trading, and I'm sorry if you can hear my notebook paper. I'm trying to look for those questions. I know they're there. It's just a matter of course, finding them. But these 4 questions, and as soon as I find them, I'll let you guys know. Trust me. They're there. I just gotta, again, find them. Okay, so I'm definitely going a little bit too far. But these 4 questions, once I got them answered in my own head, that brought the decision for me to go ahead and move forward. And I know that a lot of you also have these same questions, especially with what we're doing on this journey. You have already 4 questions in your mind. Even if you don't know them right now, you have these 4 questions. Is this real? What's in it for me? Can I do this? And will you help me? Let's answer the first question. Is this real? Absolutely. I know right now that I'm trading on a demo account, but everyone saw me trade on a real account from day 1 to day 15 with a strategy that at that point was in phase one. Now we're moving to phase 2 of this strategy because of what I learned from phase 1. The good, the bad, the ugly, all that is progress to get ourselves into the next phase. So this is real. And this realness is answered in just a day-by-day journey format of what I'm doing in the markets. Now, what's in it for me? Well, what's in it for you is it's very simple. It's the opportunity to open your mind to this style of trading, to open your mind to the concept of participating, along with many other people, by the way, along with many other people, a $6.6 trillion a day market that, regardless of your age, regardless of your gender, regardless of your background, regardless of your religion, regardless of your orientation, regardless of your creed, regardless of your ethnicity, you can participate, and there are 0 barriers to stopping you. Well, actually, there is one barrier, and that's the barrier of the mind. But again, that can easily, I'm sorry, not easily. That's not true. It can simply be broken with a little bit of a nudge in the right direction. Can I do this? Absolutely. You can do this. We talk. In fact, I might have already addressed that in question 2. You can absolutely do this. The universe is not a respecter of people. No, I used to think that I could never teach a class, I could never trade, I could never do all these things. And mind you, when I saw the first teachers or got exposed to the first teachers in Forex that knew what they were doing and they were confident in teaching what they know, I'm like, oh no, I can't do that. Like I don't have that ability. Of course, those doubts will come into you, but over time, those doubts will go away. And will you help me? Of course. This is exactly the purpose of the YouTube channel. It's not for me to brag about or pat myself on the back and saying, oh, wow, I'm doing this journey. What are you guys doing? No, it's my nudge to say, hey, you can do this. Look at how I'm trading. Look how I'm taking the trade step by step, trade by trade, and let's go out and crush this market together. So I bring all those questions up and I come back now to the story or that moment of going back into Forex trading. So those 4 questions I answered for myself, jumped in, and here we are about a year and almost 11 months later. It's funny how time kind of goes like that. But I say this because life is always happening for us and not to us. Very, very powerful quote by Tony Robbins. Life is happening for us and not to us, and we can choose what to take away from these particular moments. All right, so I did a lot of talking right there, and probably you're like, okay, weren't there like steps to this attitude of gratitude? And I'm like, you're absolutely right, there are. So let's go back to step 7. And so as you breathe into your heart and feel this tremendous gratitude, I want you to remember the issue that was upsetting you earlier. As you stay in this beautiful state, feeling filled with gratitude, I want you to ask yourself a simple question. All I need to remember about that situation, all I need to focus on, all I need to believe, all I need to do is what? And as I ponder the situation more, I have those questions answered. And I hope you can do the same for the situations that all of us find ourselves in. It's so simple and yet so profound. Appreciation, enjoyment, and love are nothing so less than the antidotes to suffering. We all have a love, appreciation, and enjoyment of something in our lives. I don't know what that is for you, but I'm sure there is something that you can be appreciative for. It could be as simple as another day on this beautiful plane of existence called Earth. It could be as simple as being able to have a cup of a coffee in your hands. I enjoy those simple pleasures. It could be as simple as being able to record another day on this podcast I love doing, which is to coach and teach you guys on how to achieve such amazing success in this market. It could be as simple as, I don't know. I can't define the gratitudes that you yourself can enjoy, but all I can do is understand that you can define something as a piece of gratitude that you can enjoy. And once we do that, that's when we start that shift. We start that shift to focus you away from the illusion of loss, less or never, and engaging your gratitude, appreciation, and love for what you already have in your life. Take all of your negative thoughts and all of your negative emotions, trade them for appreciation, and your whole life changes for an instant. And again, I don't know where we're all at in life. I don't know where you might be in your particular journey, but I know throughout all of it, got so many alarms right here, but through all of it, I'm confident we can find something that we deem as enjoyable. And again, for me, I don't know what that situation may be for you, but it's out there. We just once we're able to find it, once we're able to find the thing that we find so enjoyable or find so much gratitude for, even if it takes a little bit, even if you have to find it in a weird place somewhere, you'll be able to hold on to that moment. You'll be able to absorb that moment. And you're going to be able to allow that feeling to come into you, no matter what. Here's a powerful quote. Yesterday is but a dream, and tomorrow is only a vision of hope. But today well lived makes every yesterday a dream of happiness and every tomorrow a vision of hope. So every day that we live in the present, regardless of the circumstances, we can go back to the past and envision this dream of happiness on the days that we started the journey. Because the way that we're living today, in order to continue that journey, is going to bring every day after tomorrow a vision of hope for us to see how we indeed crush these markets. And I know that was a lot to take in. I know that was a lot of information there. So I know we'll break that down in a later episode if we need to, but just think about it. Everything that we've done yesterday, everything we're doing today, and everything we'll keep continuing to do will help us achieve a dream of happiness that we had and turn that to a vision of hope that we can see tomorrow. If you make the decision to master your own mind, you'll be mentally equipped to handle whatever challenges come your way. Any challenges. And for example, today may or may not be seen as a challenge to some because of how I plan to come back from what happened yesterday. But here we are, still trading, still doing our thing, still allowing ourselves to be in the state where we're going to be looking for these opportunities that come our way. And through that, we can move forward in the right direction. What we can possess is an outstanding ability to live in appreciation, awe, and gratitude. You might be hearing me repeating this word appreciation, awe, and gratitude a whole lot, but that is some of the ingredients that are important to, this success in not just trading, but life in general. If we can appreciate, take awe in the things that are out there, and have a state of gratitude for the things that come our way, and be able to, go through and process each and every one of these moments, then all it can do is help us become the beautiful person that's waiting on the other side of all of that. We have the capability to become a master of enjoyment, to fill our minds with appreciation, to be happy no matter what. Best of all, the joy in you will affect everyone around you. Again, for me, it's a matter of can what I do spread to other people that want to take up Forex trading, that maybe want to even start their own. If we want to go into even more simpler breakdown, can I give inspiration to those who want to start their own podcast? Especially understanding my journey of I was in one podcast that had to go away. Then I was in a second podcast, then that had to go away. And here I am in my third podcast. If I'm able to go through each and every one of those challenges and meet them, and throughout all of it, come out on the other side and understand the lessons that need to be learned from doing each and every one of those two podcasts, and come into this third podcast with a better mind of knowing what I know now and understanding the things that I believe are going to make the podcast successful, then if I can give that encouragement or those actions, that inspiration to someone who might be also wanting to start their own podcast. And again, that job of mine has been completed. Maybe even just as simple as wanting to trade, again, just trade Forex. If I give somebody an inspiration to open their minds to that, beautiful. If I give somebody the inspiration to become a coach, absolutely beautiful. I'm not saying that I have the confidence in my own heart, in my own mind, that I am the best. However, if I can give that confidence to somebody else and they in turn can be better than me, it's awesome in two ways. One, I can learn from that individual perspective, become the student, and also be proud of the fact that because of my master energy, using that to teach somebody all these tools, and then themselves using those tools to craft something absolutely beautiful, then it comes back down to that legacy part. What did I leave behind for somebody that could be used now, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years and above? Living in a beautiful state is the greatest prize, the real jackpot, the ultimate treasure. And isn't that true? To have the unconscious ability, the subconscious ability, to keep going in a state that you desire to enjoy, no matter what shit gets thrown at you. Isn't that the beautiful, most awesome tool of all? The psychological shift from scarcity to abundance makes you wealthy and brings you a glorious sense of freedom. You're training your brain to recognize that there's so much available for you to give, to appreciate, and to love. So that was Unshakable by Tony Robbins. Those are the last notes that I took. And again, I don't give the book as much justice as you viewing it will. So I am going to recommend, once again, for probably the upteenth time, to pick up the book and enjoy the book for what it has to share with you. Now, there's another book that we're going to be talking about later. We don't have to. Definitely don't believe we need to bring it up today. But do know that there are many books out there that are absolutely amazing that we're going to cover that are really going to help you with training your brain in such a way that'll help you again with not just life, but trading. And I believe the most important things that this book has taught me, now reading my notes back from it about a year ago, is really the fact that we do have the ability in this market, no matter what happens, to always take the good of it and allow it to guide you towards the next day, to guide you towards the next step. And life too can also help you. Even at the time, if you don't know if it's good for you, sometimes it's not great, but you can always say, because this happened, now I was able to do this, which led me to this. It's not easy to understand that particular pattern of thinking. And truth be told, I don't have every part of that thinking mastered all the way. There are things that I still have to learn in the student mind, of course, but with that being said, it is very, very powerful that we're still here and we're still doing the things that we love, even if the last day wasn't all that great. because we have the state of mind that will allow us to move forward in the next direction. So again, Unshakable by Tony Robbins. Definitely get that book. All right, everybody. I just wanted to come back over to the charts, and as we can see, we've got gold with the buy arrow that popped up there just a few seconds ago. And essentially what we are going to do now is we're going to see if that buy arrow holds up. That might be a cost average situation that we take advantage of. Or again, we got about 6 minutes. And as we know, in order for us to take that trade, we must make sure that the candle, when it closes, that the arrow remains there. If it does not remain there, then of course we do not take that trade, and instead we work on making sure that that is a zero margin trade. So we are currently waiting to see what will happen with that. And we got about 6 minutes, so we will go ahead and let that trade play out. So, other than that, I just kind of want to come back to what we're really learning about what we're doing so far, and it's a matter of not getting too overwhelmed with that the first step to the next step, then to the next step, then to the next step. But however, for us, what we're really measuring is a total progression of the traders that we are becoming. That what we're doing is we're essentially going from each day, and we're learning more about the people that we're becoming in the Forex market. And through each day that we're trading together, we're able to see exactly how that would hold up. So now that arrow disappeared. So I'm going to go ahead and take a sell, and we're just going to place that on a zero margin of error right there. So we've effectively hedged our trade. Now, again, we notice that even though the time frame is different, the idea of making sure that we are in a hedging situation where we're effectively, instead of using a stop loss, putting a position where we know that we can come back to any either open buy or any open sell when needed, is going to be very important still for our direction. And again, we're still mastering this particular technique. We're still looking at the best ways to do this. So we know that the first 15 days were not perfect. And so now we move to day 16, and we see what we can do to improve those results. Now, while gold does not have an opportunity, we definitely have a opportunity within silver potentially. Again, same rules apply. If we can make sure that the candle closes in the right direction, we will absolutely take that opportunity. But if not, the chart will tell us, and then that's about it. Then we essentially go ahead and we move on. For those that remember, we're still in our platinum opportunity, and right now that is going in its direction right there. So we're waiting to see what happens with platinum. But in the meantime, we still got this potential trade that could be opened up. We still got platinum, and looks like the gold versus euro, that's still a little bit of a standstill right now. So we don't have much of anything. Now silver did indeed, that arrow disappeared. That we saw that arrow that was there on silver did disappear. So we are no longer looking at that trade. And now all of our eyes, all of our attention now will indeed be on platinum to determine what the next best course of action is. Again, we got about 3 minutes before this account closes. Now, we're not getting a buy arrow or anything like that, so there's not an opportunity necessarily to trade on that. But what we are seeing is indeed, right now we're just looking to see again, which one of these pairs is going to be able to move forward with us as we restart the real account. We're going to restart that next week. We're going to see which one of these pairs, and we already got a couple of candidates. Got a couple of candidates that might travel along with us. And now we're waiting just for some of these other candidates to go ahead and also show us the potential that they can indeed also be used in our trading discretion. So that is all taking place at the moment. And right now we are just wanting to know what direction that platinum wants to go. And we will have more updates on that as we move forward. All right, everybody. So I just wanted to come back. We did ultimately, I think I showed off that we hedged off gold. We have also gone ahead and made sure that silver is not being traded on, and we did end up hedging platinum as well. So this is where we are at right now in our journey. And of course, these are demo accounts. We are indeed practicing which ones are going to be very useful for our journey in the days to come, the weeks to come. So again, all we need to take away from today is the fact that we were able to go ahead and be able to keep on trading, keep our journey of trading, our practice of trading going, and we now move forward over to the next day. So this has been day 16 of our Forex trading journey. I am very grateful to each and every one of you that watch these videos. And of course, you have any questions, you saw my social media postings in the previous previous minutes of the recording. So definitely check those out. And of course, you can also write any questions here on the comments of the videos, and we'll make sure we address them on a later video in the future. Everybody have a beautiful rest of your day. And as always, happy trading.